Hello everybody and welcome to another video, and today we're going to be revisiting a band I checked out for the first time about 2 months ago. I think it was beginning of November, I think. A band called Ludovico Technique. When I say band, I think it might just be a solo artist. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But I checked out a song of theirs in November called Live As Myself, which was an absolutely fantastic piece of music. I likened it very much to sort of London After Midnight, Lord of the Lost sort of had that. It sort of had that 80s gothic rock metal feel to it, but it also had the sort of electronica, sort of EBM elements in it as well. You know, so kind of like mixing Cell Dweller with London After Midnight sort of thing. It was just a very good piece of music. I really enjoyed it. And a couple of days ago, I think it was, they released a new track called Up to the Flames, which is what we're going to have a look at today. As I understand it, it is a lyric video, but I do have the lyrics up here as well. And yeah, so let's just jump in and see what we've got. So yeah, Up to the Flames by the Ludovico Technique. Let's have a look.
Ludovico Technique.
Well, there you go. Up to the Flames by Ludovico Technique. And again, another great piece of music, and another one with a pretty strong and powerful meaning behind it. Like I said, the first track of theirs I checked out was a track called Live As Myself, and that was basically the whole meaning and theory behind that song is live as myself. I shouldn't be ashamed to be who I want to be. I shouldn't have to live up to what other people expect of me, what people want me to be. I can be who I want to be. And this one, he seems to be talking about, being a positive light in someone's life when they're going through hard times. Like if someone's suffering from depression, he wants to be the person to sort of lift them up and, show them, bring them towards the light, show them that there is light in the darkest of places, and things aren't always going to be so dark. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Things will get better. That's basically what this song seems to be saying. Lyric-wise, there's actually not very many. And it says, when everything around you is cast further aside, when feelings that surround you are why you try to hide, don't close your eyes. So it's like, when everything around you is going bad, when things aren't going very well for you, when you're really sort of struggling, don't curl in upon yourself. Reach out, try, ask for help. If things are going bad, don't hide away from people. Don't wall yourself off. Let people help you. And he goes, I've come to find you when you're in your darkest place and hold you up to the flames. So it's like, I've come to help you. I am here to sort of lift you up, to sort of help you and guide you back towards the lighter times, to sort of pull you out of this darkness so you don't feel alone and, miserable and stranded anymore. I'm coming to help you. I am always here for you if you need me. Then carries on. The senses let's try that again. The senses that have bound you have been your only guide. When finding what's inside you, it cannot be denied. Don't close your eyes. I've come to find you when you're in your darkest place and hold you up to the flames. And that chorus bit is repeated, I think, three more times before the end of the track. So, he's literally talking about being someone that, him being there to help this person through a dark depression, and being the one to sort of lift them up, to show them that there is still hope and that he's there to help them no matter what. He will always be that friend. He will always be beside them if they need him. And that is a wonderful message. It's something I've spoken about many, many times on this channel. I've covered many songs that have covered a very, very similar subject, talking about mental health and depression and stuff like that. It costs nothing to be a friend to someone. If someone is struggling, if you can see someone struggling with depression or mental health illnesses, it costs you nothing to reach out to them, to be a friend, just so they know there is someone there that actually cares about them, someone that's going to try and help them and guide them towards a happier time. And it's not going to be an easy thing to do. I'm not going to lie. It's not an easy thing to do, to see a friend or a loved one struggling and going through such a hard time. But being that person to help someone in their darkest moments means so much to them. Because in those moments they feel that they have nothing, that they have no one. They feel all alone and isolated. And then, so you can be the sort of light in the darkness. You can be the sort of guardian angel to show them, to prove to them that people do love them, that people do care. And that means so much to someone in that situation. I've said this countless times. If you see someone struggling, please reach out to them and help them. And I've also said, if you are struggling, if you are suffering with depression or anxiety or stuff like that, reach out to someone. Don't suffer in silence. Reach out to someone. Ask for help. By keeping it all bottled into yourself and hiding away is just going to make things worse. It's going to make it harder to get past it. So reach out to someone if you're struggling. If you see someone struggling, reach out to them. Try and help them. It's really important. especially at this time when all of us are in this sort of world of uncertainty. We're all feeling rather isolated. We can't go out and meet up with friends that we would normally see 2, 3, 4 times a week. At the moment we're all sort of very isolated, and we're feeling very distant from the people that we really care for. So it's really important at this time that we take the time to reach out to people that we love and care about and make sure that they are okay. And this is just the sort of perfect song to highlight this sort of thing. It highlights it perfectly. When you're in your darkest place, I'll come find you and hold you up to the light. I will draw you back towards the light to show you it's not always going to be so bad. It's a great song with a great meaning, brilliantly performed. And again, I have to say, the deep notes that this guy can hit are amazing. He can hit some really impressive bass notes on his vocal performance. Outstanding. I love it. It's a great track. And just like I said with his previous song, the Live As Myself, a really important, strong and powerful message. Absolutely fantastic. I love it. Brilliant. But I don't know what else I can say on that, so I'm going to leave that as it is. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so. By all means, you can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you could even message me through my Patreon, where you could help me help to support this channel, which would of course be a great help to me. Help me make some minor improvements. As you can see, I've already tried to do a little bit there to improve the backdrop. It's only the one at the moment, but I'm trying to get more stuff to improve the backdrop, so we're not just looking at something boring and green. But yeah, anything if you could help support the channel, that would be absolutely fantastic. There's an option in Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue, should you so desire it. There's a limit on how frequently you can do that, however. That's just to be fair to people who suggest tracks through regular means. And if you do suggest tracks through regular means, such as Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram, comments and messages, do know it could take me a while to get around to your suggestions, since I get suggested so many new tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it'll get done eventually. It's just going to take me a while to get around to it, I'm afraid. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes. And one of the main facets of that is hate crimes against people of the alternative culture, which is actually how the foundation came into being in the first place. And it's something I believe in very, very strongly, and something that gets very, very widely ignored, and definitely needs more attention drawing to it. Because every day all around the world, people from the alternative community are getting violently attacked just purely for the fact that they listen to heavy metal music or wear, alternative fashion. And we hear every single day about all these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, religious hatred, ableism, etc. We hear these every single day. From the most heinous and violent of these, where someone is murdered because of the colour of their skin, or because of their sexual identity, or because of their religious beliefs, all the way to the petty and pathetic of these crimes, where some entitled white woman is calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public space. We hear every facet of these every day on every platform of media. But we never hear about these people that are getting beaten to within an inch of their lives, getting brutalised, sometimes hospitalised with broken limbs, and sometimes even more life-threatening injuries over something as simple as a taste in music. We never hear anything about it. The last time we heard about it was 13 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were violently attacked and brutally beaten so severely that they both ended up in comas. Rob Maltby, he did thankfully survive this attack. Sophie Lancaster, on the other hand, she was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries and died. This young woman was 20 years old, and she was brutally beaten to death by a group of 5 or 6 people over her taste in music. Just because they didn't like her taste in music, just because they didn't like the clothes that she was wearing, they beat her to death. And that was 13 years ago. And it was all over the news at the time. But in the 13 years since that happened, we've not heard a single thing since. Even though I know for a fact there have been several hundred, if not several thousand, similar attacks around the world against people of the alternative community just because of their taste in music and clothing. And we've not heard a thing about it. Not heard a single damn thing. And this is because no one's died. And that is unacceptable. We should not have to wait for someone to lose their life before this gets spoken about again. You know, we hear about all of these other crimes. You know, every single facet of them, from the most violent down to the most petty and pathetic of these crimes. We hear every single one. But we don't hear about these people getting beaten to within an inch of their life just because of their taste in music. 2 years ago, there was a young woman in Scotland who was running a charity gig. At one point during the evening, she had to leave the venue and go to her home, which was a 5-minute walk away. During the time it took her to go from the venue to her home, she was attacked twice by the same group of people who, again, knocked her to the ground, beat her, punched her, kicked her, etc. Same as what happened to Sophie Lancaster, essentially. And this happened twice in the space of time between leaving the venue and getting to her home. Now, had a taxi driver not passed and put a stop to it, she could have very easily have been killed, just like Sophie Lancaster. She could have been left beaten and bloodied on that pavement and left to die. Where was this in the news? You know, this happened in a city that is, I could walk there from where I live, but I didn't hear a damn thing about it. I didn't hear about it until a friend told me about it. You know, this wasn't on the news. Why not? You know, just because we listen to heavy metal, just because we wear different clothing, doesn't mean we're not entitled to justice. You know, this sort of thing should get spoken about when it happens. You know, we hear about all these other things, but we never hear about this. And that's not acceptable. Something needs to be done. You know, more people need to realise that this is a very, very real problem. This goes on a lot more than people realise, because it gets widely ignored, because people don't think it's important. And that needs to change. And that's what the Sophie Lancaster Foundation is about. They want to raise more awareness of the fact that this is going on, that this is a very real problem. Because they don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks. It's really important that this sort of thing gets more attention, because it's only a matter of time. If we keep ignoring it, it's only a matter of time before what happened to Sophie Lancaster happens again. And we can't allow that. What happened to Sophie Lancaster cannot be allowed to happen again. It should never have happened in the first place. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can head over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their main goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And if you can help them out in any small way, obviously don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them out in any small way, whether it be like a small donation through their website or something as simple as one of these Sophie wristbands, maybe even one of them, you know, they've got a whole bunch of other stuff as well. But, you know, if you can help them out, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we bring more recognition to the fact that this sort of thing is happening, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.